unahin ko muna yung cash. Pag naubos yung cash, I'll take out the more liquid ones also. Pag naubos yan, then saka ko liquidate yung iba kong stocks or bonds. Then that's the only time I'll start trying to liquidate also yung property. Pero if I know na mauubos na siya, 6 months down the line pa lang, I'll start looking already for people to buy it. I would not sell it 2 weeks before maubos yung pera ko kasi you won't be able to get a good deal. The best deals in business and in real estate are the ones that hindi ka nagmamadali. Because if you're rushing, for sure you won't be able to get a deal that at the most optimal price that you want to get it for. I'll talk muna to people who want to be investors, not traders, because it becomes more complicated. The rules for buying and selling will be different if you are a trader versus you are an investor. If you are an investor, you can explain it in one sentence or two sentences, the very reason why you want to buy the company in a full conviction. That's one. So for example, Altina, why do you want me to invest in Balthazar Shoes, or why are you investing in Balthazar Shoes? You use the same logic sa Jollibee, sa Globe, sa PLDT, sa Ayala Corporation, Ayala Land. Why are you buying it? If you can't answer that question, then it might be better off that you might not be positioned in that as well. Kasi that means di mo alam yung paglalagyan mo ng pera. I'm an Excel sheet type of guy, but I mentioned also that kahit anong Excel mo pag nakikita mo pera mo bumabagsak, or nakikita mo yung pera mo umaakyat, there will come a point in time where you will become either super greedy, super excited, or super fearful also. And if you don't know how to taper that, those emotions will cause you to make wrong decisions.
You always educate us, your followers, about saving. Super important. And I believe that's also how you started in your 20s. You saved like every penny that you can. You saved it. So what is the basic rule when it comes to how much of one's salary per month should we save?
For example, kunyari tayo, we're office mates. Same position, same salary, pero ikaw, you're starting off with a higher amount already. Ako, I'm starting from zero. There's a bigger reason for me to save more also now. Something like that. Or right. Also, if you look at the conditions, for example, you're married with kids. Ako, for example, single, tapos walang nagmamahal sa akin, walang pumapatol sa akin, ako lang talaga mag-isa sa buhay. My expenses will be less. Right, so okay. Probably, I could save more also, pero there's no reason for me saving for a lot of things kasi it's just me. Unlike someone who's married who has kids, mas malaki na yung gastos nila, mas maliit yung masisave nila, pero there's a larger urgency also for them to save more. I can only share from my experience, but if you there's a certain comfort level that when you hit that, and iba-iba yan per person, and nag-iiba rin yan per time, meaning as your responsibilities change, as your expenses change, as your goals change, nag-iiba rin yan. There is a certain amount of cash that you are comfortable with, that if it gets lower than that, you feel uneasy. There's a certain amount of cash also that pag umabot na siya ng ganun kalaki, manghina ka na parang, I think I should invest a portion of this kasi this is too much already, not doing anything. So, it differs for a lot of people, but what I can share to all of you was when I was starting out, I would save as much as I can. Lahat ng may budget ako, nakalista lahat doon. Everything that is in excess of that. So for example, sa budget ko kailangan ko lang pala 20,000 pesos or 50,000 pesos. Tapos I get 300,000. The whole 250 I'll save. That's what I'll do. Anything that's an excess, I'll try as much as possible to save it. Up until now, though, I like saving. I like saving. It's the platform for you to be able to invest. Kung wala kang saving, di wala ka rin pang invest And people stress a lot about investing because investing is sexy. Investing is may 1 million ka, pwede siya mag 2 million Pero not a lot of people are talking about that. Kung magtabi ka ng 200,000 a month, magiging 2 million din yan in a year. That's not talked about. What's talked about is yung 1 million mo magiging 2 million. Pero what people don't realize is if you save properly, there are a lot of people who have been quiet savers, I believe are outperforming other investors out there. But the difference with them is there's no volatility. They're very consistent and it's boring. It's the boring things in life that will make you rich. That's so true. It's not exciting pag-usapan yung stocks. Pero if you follow the rules that will make you do well in the stock market, it's boring. Super, super, super boring. Hindi mo kailangan bantayan every second yung stock market para kumita. You just have to do it based on your plan on a regular basis, studying it properly. Pero boring yun eh. And that's not what's talked about. So that's what I'll do. Then I'd rather oversave na matalo yung pera ko sa inflation than invest pero yung amount na in-invest ko is small. So sa akin, wala ka pa makitang tao na nang hinayang na, ay sayang, inasave ako ng 50 million pesos. You wouldn't hear that eh. Totoo, there could be opportunities that could have been invested when you hit that type of money. Pero you will figure it out. This is what I believe. If you're a person that saves up to 50 million pesos, saves up to 100 million pesos, you have certain skills that allowed you to get that money. And that certain skills that allowed you to get that money is the same skill set also that will allow you to pivot, that you will know also and figure out saan mo siya mapaglalagyan. So I would rather be a not so skilled investor with 50 million pesos than a super skilled investor with 500,000 pesos. Something like that.
How many months do you recommend for us? How many months worth of cash as buffer should I have?
It's so subjective kasi kahit ako when I was starting out, parang sabi ko okay to 3 months, okay to 6 months. But there comes a point in time na hindi, laki ako na lang kaya 9 months, laki ako na kaya 12 months, laki kaya 15 months. There comes a point in time that what people don't realize is the more you earn also, the higher your income is, the more you save. At the back of your head, may papasok doon na, ano kung mawala to lahat? What if something happens? What if something bad happens that talagang wala talagang pumasok? I think I should save more. I think I should put more. I would normally say that there's a number for it. I would normally say that a year is enough buffer already for you to be able to figure it out. But if you have the ability to put in more cash and it makes you comfortable that you can sleep well at night knowing that you have this much buffer, kahit matatalo siya sa inflation, I think it's okay. But as a rule of thumb, if you don't have if it's not guaranteed, you don't have fixed income, you don't know magkano kikitain mo ng April next year, better to have at least a year.
Okay.
On top of your emergency fund, when I say buffer, this is for you to be able to maintain your normal operations. Emergency fund is basically emergencies, things like that. But this buffer is you are able to function as a either entrepreneur, freelancer, or whatever you're doing na hindi madidisrupt yun. Kasi the reason why I say make it as big as it can be is basically this. Kung 3 months lang yun, by the time you're at the second month tas walang pumapasok, kakabahan ka na eh.
Oo.
Diba? Tapos magkakabahan ka na, your analysis on whatever you're doing, regardless if it's your business or your investments, would be survival. It won't be what will be the best deal for me. It won't be what will position me to become better later on. It won't be how do I become a better business, or how do I take advantage of this situation, or what can I do to be able to pivot. Your mentality will be, ano yung pwede ko makuha para may papasok na agad. And that it becomes harder that way. So the larger the buffer, the better. I think it's applicable lang na when people say that kailangan may na-invest ka, I think that's applicable lang for people who don't have other sources of income or other assets or investments. If you only have one source of income, pretty much, totoo, you need above and beyond 6 months or a year, you need to invest, you need to build that other source. Pero if you're a person watching this, then you have other streams of income already. By all means, try to look at this way. Tingin natin sila Gokong Wei, sila Lucio Tan, Lucio Co, Ayala. They don't have more than 100 million na cash lang. For sure meron yan. And it would be, and people would say, ba't nila ginagawa yan, natutulog eh. They can eh. because it's a smaller proportion also of their other asset classes. Si Altina, feeling ko nasa 1 billion.
Oh.
Guys, comment below if you're learning and if this is something that's helping you and if you think Altina's questions are amazing.
Yes, please do. Even if you don't think it's amazing, then joke lang. To somebody who is a newbie like me, and I have other responsibilities, like of course, you know, and I'm sure those who are listening to you, they have other responsibilities. They have a job, family, and things like that. So how much time should we put in on a daily basis to watch or monitor the stocks, the performance? Kasi parang I'm thinking like it has to be partner in of our routine if we want to be on top of it.
I have 3 answers to that. Kasi again, MBA. Guys, comment below MBA 3-point answer. Anyways, you presented a lot of items there that I'd like to answer. Number 1, totoo that I watch it regularly. But hindi dahil kailangan ko. I just really watch it regularly kasi masaya siya eh. So you don't know the amount of joy watching the market brings to me. Sobrang saya siya gawin. Sobrang saya rin siyang pag-usapan. Pero, for example, hindi ako sobrang excited doon. I wouldn't watch it every single minute eh. So to answer your question, totoo, I watch it regularly and then sa gabi pa kasi the US markets are open. That's the reality. Pero, people need to remember this, which is point number 2. Investments should add to you. It should not take from you. If it takes away your productivity on whatever your primary source of income is, then it's not probably worth it. You must find something that will either another investment or another strategy that should work for you. That's the most important thing there, because this is the misconception to investing. People think that there's a set number of time that you need to allocate for you to get better at it. When the reality is, baliktarin mo. What amount of time that you have that you can use to invest? And that's what you allocate for it. And it doesn't matter if it's 5 minutes. It doesn't matter if it's an hour. It does not matter if it's 2 hours. But at that time, for example, I'll make it very practical. If a person who has, say, 30 minutes versus a person who has 5 minutes, means that probably the person who has 30 minutes can watch more stocks than the person who has 5 minutes. But it does not mean that person who has 5 minutes only cannot invest, because watching one stock doesn't even take a minute eh. And for sure, there's all of you watching this. May napanood na kayo na YouTube video bukod dito that's more than 5 minutes that took away your time also eh. So if you can spend 5 minutes doing other things, 5 minutes, take a look at your investments is a better choice of how you want to deploy your time also. And it can be done several ways eh. Habang naghihintay ka kumain, na dumating yung pagkain mo, or habang nasa toilet ka, or habang nakaupo ka sa couch while your Netflix is loading, you can check already eh. But this is what I'll say also, and I'll bust a lot of misconceptions here. And I said it already in some of the videos. Kung napanood yung video na yun, comment below, napanood ko na to. The money in the stock market is not about how often you monitor. The money in the market is how you study in the evening and then how you execute in the morning. Kasi you can monitor it all you want. It doesn't change how much you will earn. People always think na naka-glue ka doon, that's how you make money. No, that's not how it's done. You study it. You study it in the evening na, teka, I want to buy the stock at 10 pesos. Then suddenly, in the morning, it hits 10 pesos. You log in, enter it at 10, then you're done. So it's really creating the strategy and the framework that pag binili mo rin ng 10, alam mo saan ka lalabas. That, lalabas ako ng 11, lalabas ako ng 9.8, even if it's lower. That doesn't require a lot of monitoring, but that requires research. That requires studying, which you can do it sa gabi, or you can do it also sa weekend and just stretch your timeline. Or, in the same way, to bust a lot of misconceptions also, just buy stocks with dividends. Hold on to it. If it's a good company, there's a big chance over a long period of time, the price will go up. But while you're waiting, you're getting cash flow off of those dividends. And that doesn't require monitoring. You can sleep on it, you can leave it. Balikan mo siya after a year. That also requires taking the time to study and goes back to what we talked about earlier, that if you cannot explain the reason why you're buying it, then it should not be bought at all. What will give you the conviction to not watch it for a year is alam mo yung binili mo.
Super important to have conviction. And yun nga, in the strategy na parang, okay, if I only have X amount of time, dapat yung stocks ko rin na in-invest is not gonna take up siguro so much of my time also, right?
To make it also practical, for example, you're a flight attendant or you're a doctor or you're a salesperson, different responsibilities, different job types, different amount of time na pwede nilang gamitin to invest. They have to figure out a routine based on kung ano ginagawa nila.
Let's talk about something else naman. Let's say investing in, I know you pointed this out in one of your interviews, so in real estate. What is your take?
Videos pala? Wow.
Naman.
Oh, such an on. Grabe. Oh my God. Altina Balthazar is watching.
Speaking of real estate, I know you talk about this quite often in your videos. How about now, in this pandemic? What are your thoughts about investing in real estate? And siguro I'll just make it a two-part question since the next one's connected. Let's say I have already real estate investment. Do you think it's advisable that I should hang on to it or liquidate it na?
If you have the money na sobra, and then you find a really, 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 really good deal, then go for it. So it will always go back to how much you know the investment. Because based on your analysis, you find that, teka, this is undervalued. The lots in this area is 10 million, tapos offer sa akin 7 million. Undervalued to. Kahit anong crisis, this is still undervalued. But that will only happen if you know what you're getting into. Kasi you will never know if it's undervalued, or you won't even know where to look, who to ask, what to look for if you don't study it. So if you find a good deal and you think it's undervalued and in an area where there's still a shot over a period of time when we recover, that prices will appreciate. Here's the thing about real estate. Sure ako na yung pandemic matatapos to. Pero sure ako also, with pandemic, without pandemic, hindi na nadadagdagan yung lupa sa Pilipinas. Sure din ako na yung population lumalaki. Putting that all together, it means that population gets bigger, the land does not increase. Suddenly, you have a large amount of people that will be trying to fit in a smaller amount of, in the same amount of space, meaning demand for that space will go higher. From your subjects in MBA, supply and demand, more people wanting to buy something will appreciate it. And that's what I think people need to see. If they know it's a good deal, kasi you can never go wrong with land. There will be some properties, totoo, that it will take longer, but there will also be some properties also that it won't be a very, very long time before you would see appreciation. So now the question is, since the Philippine real estate market has gone up a bit, you need to do your due diligence to spot which are the ones that are offering it at a really, really good price. Kasi, totoo, sabihin nila, 9 million na lang siya ngayon. Kasi 10 million siya last year. Pero yung presyo kasi last year was inflated also. It was inflated by POGOs. Diba? So, right now, baka you are in a better position also to haggle. Kasi there are some people, binibenta nila ng 10, binili nila ng 5. Nagmamadali sila. Kahit ibenta nila sa inyo ng 7, they still make money. So there will be deals like that. It's not gonna happen in a systemic level. But if I will give a rule of thumb for this, I think that will happen sa middle market. Meaning, kasi if you go to the higher end, yung really, really rich, they can wait it out. Meaning, sobra naman to. This is my 5th house. Kahit matulog yan, walang bumili ng 4 years, I can take it. But if you're a business person, you're an entrepreneur, you're an OFW, and then you bought a second condo na sana pang rent mo siya pero natamaan yung business mo, hindi mo na kaya bayaran, ikaw yung, kailangan to benta, I need to liquidate this. So they can find something somewhere in the middle. I think that's where there will be bits and pieces of volatility that they can find areas that they can buy it cheaper. So yun, a good deal, knowing their market, knowing how long they can wait for it, and knowing also who they can sell it to later on, or having also a plan. If I buy it now, will I do it for rentals, or will I do it also that I'll just hold it and then sell it later on? Or, and I forgot to mention this, if you're buying it, tapos titirahan mo, tapos kailangan mo tirahan, tapos kinumpute mo naman na pag tinirahan mo to, it will save you more than renting, hindi bilhin mo na. Kasi titirahan mo naman, it doesn't really matter 20 years from now, kasi kung hindi mo naman siya bebenta, you'll live in it for a long time. And then you computed it based on the math that it makes sense still to live in it. Go for it already. But then again, because we're in a pandemic, there might be opportunities that you can haggle for a cheaper price, or there might be opportunities where we have more wiggle room to get better terms. So I think that's the advantage for those who have cash right now. Mas disadvantage, I think it's a disadvantage for those who own, because they're faced with opportunities where mas madaming bakante ngayon. So pag mas madaming bakante, again, ganun pa rin, supply and demand, you're competing with the other ones who are also trying to sell or try to rent out their house, their unit, their commercial space.
The reason why I asked it is because my uncertainty, that level of uncertainty. So parang as an investor, parang you're thinking, should I actually do this right now during this pandemic? So that's what makes it.
I want to share this. Pag sobrang pera yan, especially if you're gonna treat it as an investment, and this applies not just for the stock market, but this applies for business, and this applies for any other asset classes. The point where there's maximum uncertainty, the point where there's maximum risk, and you execute it right, that will give you the best upside ever. When there's no uncertainty anymore, sure yan, mahal na yan. You won't get a very, very good upside. Your upside will be very minimal because everyone will be selling it at a higher price already kasi things are good parang So when times are bad, when times are scary, and then pinag-aralan mo talaga na mabuti and you really know that it's a good deal, that will give you the best upside out there. If you need the money right now, meaning natamaan yung negosyo mo, wala nang pumapasok, and then you don't have any other sources of income, sell it already. Pero if money is still coming in, you still have cash, meron ko pa namang ibang magagamit na mas liquid, use that first. So I think it will be dependent on the situation, and this is the worst time to sell kasi you won't be able to sell it at a higher price diba? If you want to sell it at a higher price, the best time to do it is when everything is good. Because when everything is good, everyone wants to buy it. You can name your price and people will buy it from you. Pero when times are bad, if you can wait it out na lang. If you can't wait it out and kailangan mo talaga yung pera. So what I'll do is this. I'll do an inventory of all of my assets. So cash, semi-cash assets, then investments that are not cash but are liquid like stocks and bonds, then some other assets like businesses or property. Unahin ko muna yung cash. Pag naubos yung cash, I'll take out the more liquid ones also. Pag naubos yan, then saka ko liquidate yung iba kong stocks or bonds. Then that's the only time I'll start trying to liquidate also yung property. Pero if I know na mauubos na siya, 6 months down the line pa lang, I'll start looking already for people to buy it. I would not sell it 2 weeks before maubos yung pera ko kasi you won't be able to get a good deal. The best deals in business and in real estate are the ones that hindi ka nagmamadali. Because if you're rushing, for sure you won't be able to get a deal that at the most optimal price that you want to get it for.
Okay, so don't rush into it. Do your research, and if you still have extra cash, wait it out and do an inventory of all your assets.
Yep.
Got it.
Before we put this to a close, 2 things. Number 1, any advice for people who are watching this, entrepreneurs like yourself that got hit some way? Anything you want to share from your experience that may benefit them?
It's important siguro to be patient at this time. Don't do anything too drastic. Plan ahead, and that includes if you need to change your product line, if you need to innovate a little bit, do so, but try at least to catch it at a good time. So good time, meaning the pandemic happened early on, March. So we had the second, third quarter to plan. Fourth quarter is usually expected to be the biggest time for people to spend. So we're expecting that, That's a good time to launch something new, to launch a new product line, perhaps. Number 2, but don't be afraid to try something new, to innovate, to change your product line a little bit. And number 3, also try to get some inspiration from other brands that you admire, also from other people who manage businesses. Try to see what they are trying to do, listen to them or read up on them. What are they trying to, how are they trying to manage it? So we can all learn from each other. This pandemic has pushed everybody to just, help one another. We support one another. We're trying to support local businesses. We're trying to keep all the cash in here in the country. So that's something that we really like and appreciate from everybody who's trying to support local. Just try to be practical. Don't try to be too, as like what Marvin said, to be so emotional when it comes to making decisions. Because if your emotions try to meddle, it's very difficult to make wise and practical decisions. So don't pull the plug too soon. There's hanggat kaya pa, go. Hustle lang ng hustle. Hanggat kaya pa. Hanggat may energy pa just to do what we love to do.
You'll see here popping up pictures of Balthazar Shoes. I'll put the link in the description. If you guys want to support Altina and Balthazar Shoes and everything that they do, links are in the description. You can check them out also in IG. Filipino made and something that I think is also world class as well. Pero Altina, I won't let you go yet until we do fast talk. If you've been watching the podcast, the portion na ganito, 2 questions, no right or wrong, whatever comes out. You can go with it. Jordan or Kobe?
Jordan.
Success or significance?
Significance.
Large mansion or travel the world?
Travel the world.
Win 100 times but lose 50 times because of that. Ang haba ng tanong na to. Or win once and not lose at all.
Win 100 times.
100 million doing what you love or a billion doing something you do not love.
100 million doing what you love.
100,000 doing what you love. Or 50 million doing something you don't love.
Wow. I'll choose the latter.
Work hard, work smart.
Work smart.
Euro, dollar. Bitcoin, gold.
Gold.
Fitness, finance.
Finance.
Jollibee, Max.
That's so tough. Jollibee.
Cut loss on a losing business or fight for it.
Cut loss.
Die with a lot of money or die fulfilling your purpose.
Die fulfilling your purpose.
Invest in the Philippines, invest abroad.
Invest in the Philippines.
Amazon, Google.
Google.
Money or love?
Love.
PLDT, Globe, Tito.
Globe.
I guess that's it. Thank you so much for joining us. It was fun, and it's nice to do this again after 7 months. Yeah,
and just seeing the difference, from 8 months ago to now. So much has changed, So, pero exciting pa rin. It's important to be positive and to look forward.
Naku, naging chubby ako konti. I gained 8 pounds. I usually walk pero wala I barely left the house for siguro 7 months. Siguro wala pang 25 times ako lumabas. I think I would go out lang for groceries. That's it. If you guys got a lot from this, put it in the comment section. If Altina had amazing questions, comment. I love Altina. Yun na lang, comment. And if you want to back, just put it in the comment section. And I guess that's it for now. Thank you so much. Thank you also for being a good sport. And to everyone who watched this, I hope this added tremendous value to all of you. And I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, guys. And God bless you all.